You begin by settling into yourself, letting your breath soften in your chest, letting the air drift in and out like a tide that never hurries. You feel the gentle weight of your body as it rests, supported, grounded, quietly present in this moment. For a few long seconds, you simply breathe, noticing how each inhale feels like a small ripple moving across the surface of something deeper inside you. You don't need to name it yet. You only need to feel it. A soft, slow rhythm rising and falling, as steady as a whisper. As the minutes settle around you, you become aware of something subtle beneath the familiar shape of your breathing. It's as if the flow of time has a texture tonight, a delicate shimmer, like moonlight lying across a river. You can almost see the surface of this inner river in your mind, smooth and dark, carrying your seconds one after another in a calm, unbroken stream. Feels steady, feels safe. It feels like a companion you've known for as long as you've been alive. And yet, something about it calls to you gently, asking you to look a little closer. You allow your breath to guide your attention inward, deeper into that quiet river. The surface shifts softly. Every inhale creates a tiny widening ripple, and every exhale smooths it back into stillness. The more you focus, the more you sense that time is not just a sequence of moments passing. It's a living flow, a river that moves differently depending on how you touch it. You smile faintly at the thought, because it feels poetic, almost whimsical. Yet there is something undeniably true in it. Even science, with all its precision, acknowledges the river's shifting currents. For now, though, you don't need any science. You only need to drift. The river welcomes you as you lean closer to the soft shimmer at its edge. You picture your seconds like tiny droplets, each one catching the light in a different way. Some are bright, some pale, some warm, some cool. All of them float along the current with a peaceful steadiness. You feel yourself relaxing even more deeply, as though the river is carrying not just your seconds, but the weight you didn't realize you were still holding in your shoulders and jaw. They loosen, they sink, they drift. You notice the quiet hum of the room around you, a distant sound, gentle, like the background music of this river landscape within you. Somewhere far away, something shifts, perhaps a soft crackle of fabric or a faint vibration in the air, and the river seems to echo it in the faintest ripple. Everything feels connected, even the tiny sounds in the distance. You let them drift by like leaves floating downstream. Nothing disturbs you. Nothing hurries you. Every part of the world aligns itself to this calm, expanding moment. As you observe the river, a small, playful thought passes through your mind. If time really is flowing like water, is your breath the little boat riding on top of it? The image makes you smile in a quiet, sleepy way. It's not scientifically rigorous, of course, but it feels charming, and sometimes a charming idea is exactly the kind that brings the mind into rest. Besides, even scientists enjoy a metaphor every now and then. You let the thought drift away, like a tiny paper boat moving lazily toward the far edge of your imagination. You begin to sense that this river doesn't just flow forward. It also holds depth, layers beneath the surface where currents twist and curl softly. You picture them spiraling gently, hidden from the eye but present, shaping the motion of the water above. Something about these unseen currents draws you in, inviting you to wonder what lies beneath the ordinary rhythm you feel each day. You can almost see faint strands of movement, soft and fluid, intertwined with your own breathing. The river seems to respond to you, adjusting itself to the pace of your body's gentle rise and fall. Your mind drifts to memories of walking beside a real stream, one with cool air brushing your face and sunlight flickering across tiny ripples. You remember how the water never rushed, even when it moved quickly. It simply followed the shape of the land, flowing where it needed to go, never forcing itself, never resisting. There's comfort in that simplicity. You realize that time, too, has always flowed in its own quiet way, shaped by the world around it, shaped by your movement within it, shaped by the gravity of everything that surrounds you. You hadn't thought about it like that before, but the river helps you see it now. Your breath deepens slightly, as if your body wants to float more fully on the surface of this inner landscape. You let yourself relax into the sensation of buoyancy, the feeling of being carried without effort. It feels as though you're lying on the surface of the river, supported by the soft push of the water against your back. The seconds drift beneath you like cool currents, slipping under your skin in the gentlest way. They're not rushing past. They're simply moving, steady, patient, kind. You sense a subtle shift in the river's distance. It feels wider now, stretching into a slow curve that bends out of sight. You don't know what lies beyond that bend, but there is no urgency to discover it. The river reveals itself only when you're ready, and tonight it reveals the first hint that time isn't as straightforward as you once believed. Something in you stirs at this thought. Not excitement exactly, but a soft curiosity that feels like a warm lantern glowing gently in the center of your chest. You follow that curiosity with slow, easy breaths. The deeper you drift, the more clearly you feel it. Time is not a strict ruler measuring your life with cold precision. It is a river that responds to movement, to presence, to gravity, to speed, to stillness. For now, these ideas remain soft, unrealized, like distant shadows under the water. But you know they are there, waiting for you, waiting to unfold with the calmness of a leaf unfurling in morning light. You need only continue drifting, continue breathing, continue noticing the shimmer. You feel the river beneath your seconds pulsing gently as you inhale again. This breath feels wider somehow, as though the air carries you a little farther downstream. The shimmer brightens slightly, hinting at deeper currents you have yet to explore, currents shaped by motion. You let the breath out slowly, letting your awareness sink into the widening flow. You drift quietly from the last chapter, still feeling the gentle widening of the river beneath your breath. The surface glows faintly, as if absorbing the memory of your previous thoughts and stretching them into something smoother, something ready for whatever comes next. You allow your shoulders to melt a little more, releasing a weight you didn't even realize remained. The river senses your softening, and its current adjusts with a tender shift. It feels as though the water is guiding you forward, helping you follow the natural curve of this new idea. As you continue floating, you notice the river's edges beginning to curl. It isn't dramatic, nothing alarming, just a subtle turning as though the water has become curious about its own direction. You breathe in slowly, and the curl becomes clearer. Motion, the river whispers. Motion changes things. You aren't going fast, not even close, but the river invites you to imagine what might happen if you were. Even the faintest thought of motion seems to tilt the surface, like a silk sheet being nudged by a gentle hand. You stretch an arm out in your imagination, letting your fingers skim the top of the river. As your hand moves forward, the ripples shift, bending slightly beneath your motion. It's such a small gesture, barely more than a sleepy stretch, yet the water reacts with surprising sensitivity. You feel a tiny smile curve onto your face. It seems the river is more responsive than you expected. Motion doesn't just move you through the river, it changes the river beneath you. Even your slow drifting leaves a soft wake behind. Your breath deepens as you feel the truth of this settling inside your chest. Motion shapes time. The concept feels both grand and strangely cozy, like discovering that your favorite blanket has hidden pockets. You don't need equations or diagrams to feel it. You only need this river, this moment, and the faint curl of water responding to your imaginary movement. You sense that if you drifted faster, much faster, the river would tilt even more, stretching and bending in ways your ordinary senses never reveal. You drift a little farther, letting the current pull you through a gentle curve. As the river bends, you sense the presence of relativity nearby, not as a dry theory but as a soft, patient teacher waiting for you to notice its gestures. It doesn't rush you or overwhelm you. It simply places its hand on the river's edge and tilts the surface in the most delicate way. The water responds, flowing a little differently, adjusting to the subtle suggestion of speed. You feel this change in your own breath, as though your chest expands in a slightly new rhythm. You imagine yourself moving along the river at different speeds. Very slow at first, barely more than drifting. The surface remains calm, almost undisturbed. Then a little faster. Still not enough to startle the water, but enough to create a hint of narrowing, a gentle alignment of ripples behind you. Your breath syncs with the growing motion, each inhale steady, each exhale soft. And then, in your imagination, you increase the speed again. Not wildly, just enough that the river begins to stretch, the current thinning around you as if making space for your passage. The river doesn't resist this speed. It adjusts almost generously. But you notice something. The faster you imagine yourself moving, the slower the river feels beneath you. It's as though your seconds begin to dilate, stretching into longer moments. This is the first whisper of time dilation. Not a complex idea, not a heavy concept. Just the river slowing its rhythm to match your newfound speed. You continue breathing softly, letting the idea unfold without tension. A playful thought drifts into your mind. If you were truly speeding along the river, would your hair dramatically flow behind you? The thought is quietly amusing, and you chuckle inwardly at the image. But even in the humor, you feel the truth. Speed changes experience. It changes perception. It changes time. The river seems amused too, sending a small swirl of warm water around your legs, as though offering a tiny nod of encouragement for your wandering imagination. As you glide farther, you sense that the river is no longer just reacting to you. It is teaching you. You picture time as a flexible surface, not rigid but soft, able to stretch and tilt depending on how gently or quickly you move across it. The more speed you imagine, the more the river leans forward, as though bowing to your momentum. You're still in the same water, still surrounded by the same shimmering glow, but the current beneath you has shifted. Your place in the flow has changed. You take another slow breath, letting the air fill the deeper parts of your lungs. As you exhale, the river widens, giving you a broader view of its winding path ahead. This widening feels like understanding, calm, effortless understanding. You don't have to analyze the river to learn from it. You only have to observe. The edges curl when you move. The current stretches when you imagine speed. Time bends itself around motion, quietly, gracefully, without ever losing its calm. You feel yourself drifting into a softer stillness, even as the idea of speed surrounds you. That's the strange beauty of this river. It lets you explore motion without ever pulling you out of rest. You can glide quickly in your imagination and still feel your body sinking deeper into relaxation. You can sense the bending of time while your muscles loosen even further. It's a gentle paradox, the best kind, the kind that invites curiosity rather than confusion. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the sensation of motion settle without needing any visuals. The darkness behind your eyelids becomes another surface of the river, a calm expanse where time and movement blend. You feel a faint hum beneath you, like the river murmuring its approval. You realize you've drifted farther along than you expected, carried by the soft tilt created by your own imaginary speed. You inhale again, slowly, letting the breath pull you forward. When you exhale, the river smooths its surface, preparing the way for what comes next. You sense a faint glimmer downstream, something subtle but bright, waiting to show you the next chapter of this gentle journey. As you drift toward it, the edges of the river curl once more, guiding you toward gravity's quiet influence. And as the river bends, you follow the glimmer into the distance, ready to explore how gravity presses its imprint on the river of time. You drift forward on the river, leaving behind the soft ripples of motion. The curl of water you followed in the previous chapter eases back into a gentle straightness, but the current feels denser now, warmer, as if the river itself is gathering its weight around you. You breathe in slowly, letting your lungs expand fully, noticing how each inhale stretches the surface of your chest like a calm tide. Each exhale sinks you deeper, settling you more comfortably into the flow. There is a new presence here, soft, persistent, almost like the hug of a familiar friend, and you sense it immediately: gravity. The word feels heavy in your mind, but the feeling itself is light. It is not an oppressive weight. It is a comforting pull, wrapping you in a slow, predictable rhythm. You imagine it as a blanket draped across the surface of the river, pressing softly against the water without forcing it, shaping it ever so gently. The seconds beneath you thicken slightly, moving more slowly, more attentively, as if gravity is asking time to pause and consider its own movement. You smile faintly, because even a natural law can feel tender if you allow it to. Your breath deepens again, sinking with the subtle pull of the river. You notice the current flowing a little differently here, thicker and slower, almost syrupy in its quiet insistence. You feel the surface beneath you pressing up gently, offering resistance, yet soft enough to carry you forward effortlessly. The river seems aware of gravity's touch, folding its flow in delicate layers that ripple beneath your skin. You sense that this is not a force that rushes. It is a force that waits, that observes, that cradles. Every second carries a weight, but one that feels protective rather than heavy. You lean closer to the river in your mind, letting your fingertips skim the surface. The water responds with a slow, deliberate curl, rising gently around your fingers, curling like the soft edge of a cloud. You imagine the pull of gravity increasing near massive worlds, the seconds thickening even more, the flow slowing to a calm, almost imperceptible crawl. The river hugs itself around you, deepening the channels that carry each moment. You feel yourself stepping closer to these channels, curious about how the weight of the universe bends your quiet stream of time. Your breath moves with the current, inhaling warmth, exhaling tension. There is a faint hum in the distance, like a lullaby the river sings for you alone. It is neither loud nor urgent, only soft, a whisper that matches your own heartbeat. You feel gravity pressing against your body in tiny, reassuring ways, shaping the rhythm of your own seconds. Each inhale seems longer, each exhale more deliberate, and you realize that even without moving, the river is bending for you, offering a slow dance that teaches patience, presence, and quiet observation. A playful thought drifts in like a floating leaf. If time stretches near massive worlds, do sleepy astronauts feel the river hugging them more gently than anyone else? You smile, letting the image drift without grabbing it, allowing it to settle quietly in the background of your mind. Humor, you notice, can be a soft companion, lightening even the weight of gravity. The river seems to chuckle too, sending a small swirl around your ankles in acknowledgement of your tiny mental joke. You exhale slowly, feeling the warmth of that gentle interaction ripple through your chest. You drift further into the current, noticing the way the river thickens under gravity's attention. The surface seems smoother, calmer, yet richer, as though each second has been infused with substance. You imagine it as honey flowing in a lazy spiral, thick but welcoming, each molecule moving with intent yet without haste. Your thoughts float on top like tiny petals, carried but never forced. There is no need to analyze, no need to hurry. You only need to observe, to breathe, to feel the pull and let it settle inside your awareness. You become aware of layers beneath the surface, subtle twists in the current that form deeper channels. These channels, you realize, are the hidden paths gravity carves into time itself. They are invisible to most, but here, in this quiet state, you can feel them. They cradle your moments, holding them close, giving them texture and depth. You float above them, aware of the weight, aware of the soft stretching of seconds, and grateful for the rhythm that carries you without effort. There is no rush. There is only this. Your breath lengthens even further, like a slow tide rising and falling. Each inhale pulls the river forward a little. Each exhale releases a faint echo into the channels beneath. You feel how gravity molds the flow, shaping each second like a soft sculpture. The surface ripples gently, acknowledging your presence, bending subtly around your body. The river feels alive, yet serene, aware yet calm. You realize that time itself is not a rigid ruler but a pliant medium, responsive to the tender hand of gravity and the careful pulse of your own breath. You allow yourself to drift closer to the imagined weight of massive worlds, feeling the river thicken even more, responding to the pull as if aware of the invisible mass that bends it. The seconds become denser, slower, carrying the sensation of gravity like warmth across your skin. Your chest rises and falls in perfect harmony with the current. There is a quiet wonder in realizing that these seconds are elastic, expanding under influence, yet never breaking. The river is patient. You are patient. And in that patience, there is a profound, unspoken comfort. The hum of the river persists, a gentle, continuous vibration that feels like a lullaby just for you. You close your eyes and let the warmth seep in deeper, imagining yourself floating above these channels of thickened time. Each breath stretches the river slightly, making space for new reflections, new currents to appear. Gravity does not demand anything. It only guides, gently reminding the flow that every second carries weight, every moment has presence. You feel this deeply in your body, a subtle awareness that nothing is lost, nothing hurried, nothing urgent. A tiny, soft thought arises. Perhaps gravity is simply the universe's way of hugging its own moments, pressing softly so that nothing is ever truly alone. You smile, letting the humor drift like a feather across the water. Even in the vast mechanics of space, there is room for tenderness, for quiet amusement, for the soft pleasure of noticing. The river seems to pulse in rhythm with this thought, sending gentle ripples along the surface, curling slightly where your mind brushes close. You inhale again, feeling the pull of the river more distinctly as you exhale, sinking into the quiet richness of thickened time. The channels beneath you widen and deepen subtly, guiding your awareness along invisible pathways. You sense that these pathways are not meant to be mapped, only felt. Your breath anchors you to the present, yet your mind drifts along the currents, learning how time can stretch without strain, how gravity can bend without pressure. You are both observer and participant, drifting in a river that honors your pace and your presence. And as you let your last slow breath drift outward, the river begins to loosen its weight gently, preparing you for the next stretch. Ahead, a faint glow appears on the horizon, a luminous thread waiting to guide you. The pull of gravity softens, leaving space for light to weave its quiet magic through the river. You inhale one more time, feeling the warmth of the current, the slow bend of seconds, the subtle embrace of weight, and drift forward toward the luminous invitation that awaits. You drift gently from the thickened currents of gravity, feeling the river lighten around you, as though the unseen hand of weight has softened and released. Your breath flows slowly, filling your lungs with calm, expanding your chest like a gentle wave. The river beneath you hums faintly, a soft vibration that resonates with the quiet pulse of your heartbeat. You feel the presence of something new, a thread of light weaving itself through the current, faint at first, glimmering like sunlight dancing on water just before dawn. Your chest rises and falls in time with the rhythm of this luminous thread. You notice that it is constant, steady, unwavering, a quiet guide for the flow of the river. The water seems to recognize it too, tilting and aligning its ripples along the path of the light. You drift closer, not in haste, not in curiosity's sharpness, but in the gentle patience that has carried you this far. The thread is warm, a soft glow that illuminates each droplet of your inner river without demanding attention. You reach out, letting your mind's fingers brush the edge of this light. It feels delicate yet firm, like a ribbon floating just above the water's surface. Every second you touch it aligns with its gentle rhythm, and your breath deepens, matching the rise and fall of the current as it flows beside the luminous guide. There is no urgency. There is only the soft tug of alignment, a quiet invitation to let yourself float in the constant rhythm of the universe. You notice how this thread interacts with the river. Where the currents twist or curl, the light threads through each bend without faltering. It is a standard, a constant, and the river respects its path. You smile softly to yourself, realizing that in every twist, every gentle eddy, the luminous thread marks the measure of all moments. It does not hurry, it does not slow, it simply is. And because it is, the river flows with a quiet coherence you can feel all around you. Your awareness drifts along the current of light. Each second feels slightly brighter, each breath carrying a subtle warmth, like sunlight brushing across the skin on a winter morning. The water beneath you glows faintly in response, shimmering as though recognizing the presence of the light's constant touch. You imagine each molecule of the river dancing lightly in time with the beam, creating a soft harmony that fills the space around you. Even the hum in the distance seems to tune itself to the thread, rising and falling in delicate correspondence. You lean closer, letting the awareness of this guiding light settle into your senses. The thread is not just ahead of you, It flows beside you, beneath you, around you. It is both path and companion. Your breath lengthens as the subtle motion of the river and the constancy of the light thread begin to intertwine, creating a slow, seamless rhythm. You realize that the river has been bending gently for gravity, for motion, and now, for light, each shaping the flow of time in its own tender way. A playful thought flits through your mind. If seconds ride this light thread, do they carry little packets of glow with them, like tiny lanterns bobbing on the water? You smile inwardly, letting the whimsy drift across your chest like a feather. The river seems to acknowledge your thought with a soft ripple, a tiny curl that tickles your awareness. Humor, even in its quietest form, feels like part of the natural flow, an effortless addition to the slow, gentle rhythm of everything around you. You drift further, following the luminous thread. It moves without effort, constant and predictable, yet never stagnant. You notice that your perception of time seems to settle into a new, serene alignment. The seconds stretch softly, elongated by the slow currents and steady light, yet they carry no weight. Your breath synchronizes with them, each inhale matching the gentle rise of the current, each exhale following the dip of the water's surface. You feel as though you could remain here indefinitely, floating in perfect harmony with the river and the guiding thread. The river beneath you has become a tapestry of subtle motion. Where it thickened near the weight of gravity, it now carries a refined elegance, threading itself along the luminous beam. You imagine that every droplet of water is aware of the light, bending slightly in reverence, aligning its flow so that the surface remains calm yet vibrant. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the warmth of the glow seep through your eyelids, a soft caress that moves in time with your heartbeat. It is tender, patient, ever-present. You inhale once more, letting the thread guide your awareness forward. The river carries your moments along the light, showing you how constancy shapes experience. You notice how the bright filament seems to measure every ripple, every slight motion, every gentle curl of the water. Your seconds are no longer just your own. They are companions to this constant glow, flowing in synchrony. Each breath, each heartbeat, becomes part of the quiet rhythm, and the river beneath you moves in kind, embracing the soft guidance of the light. You notice layers beneath the surface, subtle currents that flow under the river yet remain connected to the thread above. These undercurrents hum faintly, reflecting the constancy of the light and reminding you that every part of the river, seen and unseen, participates in this delicate orchestration. You feel the alignment in your own body, the subtle softening of muscles, the ease of your shoulders, the gentle expansion of your chest. The thread is not just guiding the river, it is guiding you, helping you float more fully in the present. A tiny, soft thought rises. Perhaps this thread is a reminder that constancy exists even amid motion, that some things remain steady while everything else bends and shifts. You smile, letting the idea drift like a leaf on the current. Even in the vast, flowing river of time, some elements are unwavering, providing guidance without pressure. The luminous thread is just such an element. Your breath lengthens in quiet appreciation, syncing with the gentle pulse of this guiding presence. You drift forward, carried by the twin influences of the river and the thread. Your awareness expands, encompassing both the thickened currents of gravity you recently left and the subtle edges of motion you explored before. The river beneath you moves in measured waves, guided by light, and your mind follows, relaxed, curious, and calm. Every second is illuminated softly, yet nothing about this illumination demands focus. You feel safe, you feel aligned, you feel present, and as your breath drifts out in a long, lazy exhale, the luminous thread begins to stretch farther ahead, inviting you to imagine the river narrowing once more. You sense a place where speed and motion will pull at the surface, stretching seconds like soft taffy, creating new folds in the gentle fabric of time. You allow your awareness to glide forward, carried by the rhythm of the light, ready for the tender stretching that lies just ahead. You drift along the river, following the luminous thread that guides your path. The glow stretches ahead like a gentle promise, and you notice that the river begins to narrow slightly, as though preparing for something new. Your breath remains slow, measured, a soft tide rising and falling within your chest. The surface beneath you shifts subtly, thinner now, less dense than before, yet still smooth and welcoming. You feel your presence within it, a small boat gliding quietly, noticing the way the current changes with your imagined pace. As you imagine yourself drifting a little faster, the river responds delicately. The water stretches slightly around you, thinning like silk pulled softly in opposite directions. The seconds themselves seem to elongate, each one lingering longer than before, bending under the gentle influence of speed. You notice your heartbeat aligning with this stretching rhythm, and your breath flows in perfect synchrony, steady and grounding. You are moving faster, yet there is no urgency. There is only the soft, tender unfolding of time. You let your mind wander to the idea of traveling near the edge of light speed. You don't need equations, you don't need numbers, only the sensation of flowing with the current. The river seems to respond to your thought, slowing gently beneath you, thickening just enough to carry the elongated seconds in a quiet embrace. You imagine the cosmos rushing past in a blur of starlight, the scenery stretching like reflections on water. And yet, you remain calm, anchored by your breath, floating along a river that adapts to your imagined motion without strain. Each inhale draws in the river's rhythm, and each exhale releases the gentle pressure of speed. You feel the seconds stretching under your presence, like soft taffy molding in your hands. They elongate not as a warning, not as a challenge, but as a tender invitation to feel the fluidity of time itself. You notice how your awareness softens with every ripple, how each second becomes more spacious, more intentional, more vivid. There is a quiet pleasure in sensing moments expand without effort, and you let yourself sink into it fully. The edges of the river ripple subtly as you glide faster, curling slightly as if waving to acknowledge your passage. You imagine each molecule of water stretching with you, bending gently, keeping pace with your imagined speed. Your breath carries you effortlessly, a slow rhythm that moves in tandem with the elongation of moments. You feel weightless yet deeply present, suspended in a current that stretches without breaking, guiding without rushing. The river has become a teacher, showing you how seconds can expand, how motion shapes experience, and how awareness grounds you even amid rapid flow. A soft, playful thought drifts in. If your seconds stretch like this, do they make tiny echoes of themselves along the river? You smile faintly, imagining elongated drops floating beside you, carrying whispers of your passage. The humor is light, unnoticed by anyone but you, yet it feels like a tiny, tender ripple of joy in the quiet river. The surface responds with faint swirls, acknowledging your gentle amusement. Even amid the cosmic flow of stretching time, there is room for this delicate playfulness, and it deepens your relaxation. You drift farther along the narrowed river, noticing how the light thread continues to guide the flow. The beam stretches in front of you, unwavering and constant, offering a stable rhythm as the seconds bend around your imagined speed. You feel a subtle alignment between the stretched moments and the luminous guide, a gentle reassurance that the river, though elongated, remains coherent, gentle, and alive. You breathe slowly, inhaling the soft glow, exhaling any tension, and letting the stretched current carry you farther downstream. Exhaling any tension, and letting the stretched current carry you farther downstream. You sense the deeper layers of the river beneath the surface. Where gravity thickened the flow and motion tilted the edges, speed now stretches the seconds into soft, malleable threads, weaving gently with the luminous filament. You imagine each moment as a tender loop of water, pulled thin yet unbroken, forming a ribbon of experience that flows with you. Your breath anchors you to the river, to the gentle hum that resonates beneath, to the soft curvature of time expanding without strain. You are aware, fully present, yet weightless, a quiet observer riding your own elongated current. A whisper of curiosity passes through your mind. How do the seconds feel to someone drifting even faster, closer to the thread's edge? You smile faintly and let the thought pass, like a leaf floating past your fingertips. You do not need to follow it. The river flows at your pace, and your pace alone. Even as you imagine more extreme stretching, the current remains calm and inviting, bending to your awareness without judgment, without pressure. You float along, noticing the softness in each expanded moment, the tender care in every ripple that carries you forward. Your breath deepens further, carrying a warmth that blends with the gentle glow of the light thread. Each exhale softens the river's surface around you, smoothing any rough edges, easing your awareness into the tender elongation of seconds. You feel the continuity of the flow, the way each moment connects seamlessly to the next, yet each remains distinct, elongated in a gentle, deliberate way. The stretching is not uncomfortable. It is soothing, revealing the elasticity of time itself, the quiet poetry of moments expanding under influence without urgency or tension. You let yourself imagine the wider cosmos rushing past, stars flickering like distant lanterns as your seconds expand. Yet your body feels anchored, your breath slow and steady, your awareness relaxed. You are moving, yet still. You are flowing, yet calm. Every stretch, every elongation, is a soft lesson in the tenderness of time, the quiet pliability of experience, and the gentle power of awareness to navigate it. You smile inwardly, floating along the current, observing without need, trusting the river to carry you with care. A tiny thought flutters in. If your life clock slows here, in the river's gentle stretch, could every quiet breath you take be a way to elongate time, to savor it, to cradle it softly? You let the idea drift without grasping it, enjoying the soft humor and insight it brings. The river responds with a faint shimmer along the edges, the luminous thread guiding the gentle elongation forward. You drift, deeply present, wrapped in the soft folds of time, aware of each expanding second and the warmth of the river beneath you. And as your final slow exhale flows outward, the river begins to widen slightly, the surface preparing for a new stretch ahead. Your awareness drifts forward with it, noticing the subtle invitation downstream, a place where the opposite effect awaits, where time compresses, where the river thickens once more under unseen hands. You breathe in, feeling the warmth and calm of the stretched seconds, and float forward with curiosity and serenity. You glide forward along the river, leaving the stretched seconds behind, the luminous thread guiding you softly as it always does. The water around you thickens subtly, a tactile change beneath your awareness, as though an unseen weight presses gently from below. Your breath deepens, and each inhale feels a little heavier, a little warmer, carrying the sensation of compression into your chest. The river welcomes you into this denser space, murmuring faintly beneath you, a low hum that vibrates through the soft folds of your awareness. The current is slow, thicker than the stretches of speed you left behind. Seconds press softly against each other, nesting in close proximity like leaves stacked in a quiet, careful pile. You notice the difference immediately. The river feels snugger here, weightier, a little more intimate. There is no tension, no harshness, only a gentle sense of being drawn together. You exhale slowly, letting your body settle into this new rhythm, feeling the subtle embrace of compression carrying you downstream. You sense gravity nearby, an invisible presence that bends not just the river but the seconds themselves. The water thickens under its touch, pressing gently around you, wrapping every moment with warmth. You imagine the river flowing around a massive unseen planet, currents pooling in quiet hollows where gravity presses more insistently. The seconds stack in delicate layers, one atop another, creating a rich depth that you can feel beneath your skin. You breathe with it, letting your chest rise and fall in time with the soft weight of the flow. A playful thought drifts across your mind. If seconds can huddle like this, are they whispering to each other as they press close? You smile, letting the idea float by, feeling the faint warmth of humor ripple through your chest. Even amid compression, the river is tender, alive, and gentle. There is a quiet delight in observing the closeness of moments, in recognizing that time itself can be soft and intimate rather than sharp and linear. You float along, anchored by your breath, feeling the weight of every second without strain. The surface of the river responds in subtle ways. Ripples become slower, shorter, curling delicately around the compressed layers beneath. You imagine tiny eddies folding into themselves, moving in tiny spirals, each one holding a second snugly, carefully. Your body feels the effect of this density. Your limbs rest with more gravity. Your shoulders sink deeper into the river's soft embrace. There is comfort in the compression, a sense of safety in the slow gathering of moments, a kind of weight that does not burden but cradles. You drift closer to the center of this dense flow, feeling the seconds pressing together more distinctly. Each moment is tangible, like a bead of honey pressed softly into the next. The river beneath you seems to pulse gently, responding to the subtle shifts of gravity, the quiet touch of mass. Your breath lengthens, expanding fully into the pressure, allowing the compression to integrate into your awareness. The sensation is not oppressive. It is a slow, deliberate reminder that time, like water, can move in many ways, thick or thin, fast or slow, light or dense. The river hums faintly, a low vibration that seems to come from its deepest layers. You feel it through your chest, through your fingertips, through the soles of your feet, even though your body floats lightly atop the surface. Each inhalation presses the moments closer together. Each exhale releases a soft echo along the riverbank. The compressed seconds are not silent. They sing in quiet resonance, a melody that only your attentive awareness can hear. You drift in harmony with it, letting the rhythm of compression teach you the softness inherent in slow, dense time. A gentle thought arises. Perhaps gravity is simply the universe's way of gathering moments close, giving them a warm, safe home. You smile at this, letting the playful musing drift over the surface of the water like a feather. The seconds respond, nesting together more tightly, and the river seems to wrap you in a gentle embrace. Even in the densest flow, there is room for tender humor, quiet curiosity, and soft wonder. You float along, noticing the subtle compression without effort, without judgment, simply following the rhythm of the river. You drift deeper into the compressed channel, feeling the warmth of each second. They move slowly but with intent, holding themselves in alignment with gravity's unseen hand. The surface of the river is smooth, thickened, and calm, creating a perfect space for you to explore the sensations of slowed moments. Your awareness stretches around the compressed flow, noticing the difference from the stretched seconds before. Here, density brings focus, intimacy, and clarity, a serene depth that the lighter currents could never provide. You inhale once more, allowing the breath to draw the river closer to you, integrating the weight into your chest, into your awareness. Exhaling, you feel the seconds settle, compressed but peaceful, each moment resting against the next. There is a profound calm in observing the elasticity of time, in feeling its adaptability, and in sensing that this thickened current is just another way the river flows. You are both participant and observer, floating effortlessly atop this dense, slow-moving stream, aware of its softness, its warmth, its tender embrace. A small, quiet curiosity drifts in. If the moments are huddled together, are they speaking their own language, a gentle dialogue of seconds pressed close? You smile faintly, letting the whimsical idea drift like a leaf along the current. Even in the dense, slow river, there is room for this tender playfulness, for the recognition that the soft compression of time carries its own quiet joy. You float forward, deeply present, sensing the richness of these moments without needing to name them, needing only to feel their weight and their softness. Your breath deepens further, anchoring you fully into the dense river. The seconds are layered beneath you, stacked in gentle order, each one distinct yet connected. The flow is deliberate but tender, offering a new perspective on the flexibility of time. You notice the subtle energy of gravity threading through the compressed water, guiding the moments, shaping them, but always without hurry or force. The river carries you forward, steady, calm, deeply aware of the softness inherent in its densest channels. And as your final exhale flows out, the river begins to ease its compression gently, preparing you for the next stretch. Ahead, a faint shimmer appears, hinting at the perspective of other travelers, other rivers flowing at different paces. You breathe in, feeling the warmth and density of the compressed moments, and float forward with serene curiosity, ready to observe how time differs for each drifting presence. You drift forward on your river, leaving the compressed currents behind, feeling the water lighten slightly as gravity's dense hand releases. Your breath flows slowly, deliberately, anchoring you in the gentle pulse of your own presence. As you float, a subtle awareness emerges, like a soft shimmer along the surface. You are not alone. Others drift here too, along their own channels, each moving at a pace that is uniquely theirs. Their ripples, their eddies are slightly different from yours, yet part of the same river system. You notice the first traveler, a faint silhouette gliding just ahead, the water around them curling differently, moving in a rhythm that feels familiar but distinct from your own. You inhale slowly, sensing the soft contrast between their seconds and yours. The ripples they leave behind trail in a unique pattern, a signature of their motion, and you marvel at the quiet individuality of it. Though the river is shared, each current is deeply personal, a reflection of their pace, their attention, their presence in the flow of time. Another traveler passes by, moving more swiftly than you. The water bends around them in elongated arcs, seconds stretching gently behind their passage. You exhale softly, letting your awareness drift with their motion for a moment, curious but calm. Their flow is different, yet harmonious with the river's greater rhythm. You feel no urgency to match it, no need to accelerate your own drift. Your river remains yours, and theirs remains theirs, yet each contributes to a quiet, shared landscape of flowing moments. You lean closer to the surface, letting your fingertips skim the water's edge, feeling subtle vibrations of these parallel currents. They brush lightly against your channel, a whisper of connection without intrusion. You realize that each perspective alters the perception of the river itself. Where one traveler sees thickened seconds, another sees stretched moments. Some drift slowly, some swiftly, yet all follow the same luminous thread that guides the river. The awareness is calming, grounding, a reminder that perspective shapes experience gently, quietly. A small, playful thought drifts in. If everyone's seconds ripple differently, perhaps the river itself is a patchwork of private worlds, each moment a soft echo in a shared stream. You smile inwardly, letting the idea float over your chest like a feather. The humor is subtle, light, yet it deepens your relaxation. Even amid relativistic differences, there is harmony. The river accommodates every pace, every perspective, without judgment or hurry, and you float freely within its infinite, flowing patience. You drift alongside a group of slower travelers, their ripples thick and dense, each second pressing closely against the next. You inhale slowly, noticing the contrast with your own channel. Their moments feel more intimate, more deliberate, almost tactile in their compression. Your own seconds feel lighter in comparison, elongated yet grounded. The difference is soft, subtle, a gentle reminder that time is never absolute. Each river is unique, yet part of a larger, flowing mosaic. You exhale, letting this understanding settle in the warmth of your chest. The luminous thread continues ahead, a constant guide linking all the rivers together. It glows softly beneath each traveler, bending subtly to accommodate their unique rhythms. You notice how the thread maintains its constancy even as currents vary wildly around it. This duality, a constant guiding presence alongside fluid, individual experiences, is deeply comforting. It shows you that perspective and constancy can coexist, that every moment, no matter how it bends or stretches, remains part of a coherent, luminous flow. You float farther, letting your awareness expand to include multiple rivers at once. Each traveler's passage creates faint ripples that mingle at the edges, touching yours without altering your own channel. Some currents brush gently, barely noticeable. Others fold into your awareness more strongly, a reminder that perspective is relative, and that motion is deeply personal. You feel the river's acceptance, its patience, its quiet generosity in allowing each channel to exist fully, yet in harmony with the others. Your breath deepens, carrying warmth into your chest as you drift along. You notice that observing the rivers of others changes your awareness of your own time. Each inhale and exhale aligns subtly with the gentle rhythm of your neighbors, without overriding your own pace. You begin to see relativity not as a complex theory but as a tender, observable truth. The flow of moments depends upon each traveler's motion, each observer's attention, each river's unique presence. You feel gratitude for this quiet revelation, for the soft awareness of perspective, and for the calm permission to float at your own pace. A tiny, soft thought arises. If everyone's experience of time is slightly different, perhaps every second contains multitudes, private and shared simultaneously. You smile faintly, letting the playful idea drift across your awareness. The rivers hum softly in response, currents folding in tender acknowledgement of their individuality. You float along, aware of the richness of these parallel streams, feeling the multiplicity of experience without judgment, without hurry. Each second is full, each moment complete, and your channel flows gently alongside all the others. You drift deeper into this awareness, sensing how the river itself accommodates all variations. Ripples overlap without friction, currents bend around one another with ease, and the luminous thread continues to guide each path steadily. You notice your own seconds subtly influenced by the presence of others, yet still fully yours. You are both part of the river and distinct from it, an observer and participant, aware of the individuality and harmony that coexist in every fold of time. Your breath anchors you as this understanding deepens, steadying your awareness amid the subtle dance of rivers. The hum of the river grows fainter, softer, a gentle resonance that reflects the quiet merging of perspectives. You notice small interactions at the edges, where currents brush softly, where elongated seconds fold beside compressed ones, where fast and slow flows exist together in quiet harmony. You inhale slowly, feeling the softness of these intersections, the calm beauty of perspective woven through the water. Each exhale carries a sense of gentle wonder, a recognition that your experience is one among many, yet entirely complete in itself. And as your final long breath drifts outward, you sense the river carrying you forward, preparing for a stretch where humans have tested and observed these subtle differences, recording them in delicate instruments and gentle experiments. You float with serene curiosity, aware of the multiplicity of rivers, aware of the constancy of the luminous thread, and ready to see how evidence of time's quiet shifts appears in tangible ways. You drift along the river, leaving behind the gentle dance of perspective, letting the luminous thread guide you forward. The water beneath you hums softly, calm and patient, carrying the subtle warmth of your breath with it. Ahead, on the riverbank, faint shapes begin to emerge, delicate objects resting along the edges of the flow. You lean closer, noticing that they are clocks, each one small, precise, and shimmering faintly in the soft glow of the luminous thread. You inhale slowly, allowing your awareness to fill with the quiet presence of these instruments. Each clock ticks softly, a gentle beat in time with the river, yet each rhythm is slightly distinct, almost imperceptibly so. You notice that some ticks seem to fall a little ahead of your own pulse, while others lag softly behind. There is no rush, no urgency, only the delicate interplay of seconds unfolding along the water's edge. You exhale and feel the river adjust subtly around these tiny oscillations, accommodating them without tension. The scientists arrive along the riverbank in your imagination, moving carefully, respectfully, as if handling fragile, luminous threads of time itself. They lift the clocks, carrying them through gentle motion, sometimes up and down, sometimes along narrow currents, observing how the seconds respond to the river's shifts. You watch their hands move slowly, deliberately, noticing that even a small change in position alters the flow of moments within the clock. The river hums quietly beneath it all, a soft witness to this tender exploration of time. You drift closer, inhaling the warmth that rises from the flowing seconds. You notice subtle shifts, almost like tiny ripples. One clock ticks a fraction faster as it floats along a lighter current. Another ticks a touch slower, pressed by the weight of the dense water. The differences are small, delicate, almost imperceptible, yet they are there. You exhale softly, feeling the gentle confirmation of what the river has shown you all along. Time is flexible, responsive, and deeply intimate. It bends, stretches, and compresses according to the river's currents. A playful thought flits through your mind. If these clocks are tiny lanterns along the riverbank, perhaps they are whispering secrets of the seconds they carry. You smile faintly, letting the whimsy drift across your awareness like a floating leaf. Even amid careful experiments, the river seems to allow humor, quiet curiosity, and tender observation. Each tick, each breath of the clocks, becomes a note in the soft, rhythmic symphony of flowing time, and you are immersed fully in its resonance. You drift farther along, noticing how the clocks respond to motion and gravity differently. Some are carried along gentle stretches of current, elongating their seconds slightly, while others sit in the dense, gravity-laden channels, compressing each tick like beads pressed together. You inhale, letting your chest expand with the gentle awareness of these variations, feeling how your own river flows in harmony with the observed currents. Each exhale softens your presence, allowing you to float along without disturbing the delicate balance of moments along the bank. You notice the way the river reflects these tiny shifts. Where clocks move faster, ripples radiate lightly outward, blending with the water around them. Where clocks slow, the surface thickens subtly, carrying the information like a quiet pulse through the flow. You realize that these experiments, though precise and careful, do not disrupt the calm of the river. Instead, they reveal a quiet truth, one that the luminous thread has guided you toward from the beginning. Time drifts, and the river carries it tenderly for all who observe. Your breath deepens, carrying the warmth of realization through your chest. You sense the elegance of each tick, each subtle difference, the quiet harmony between observation and flow. You feel gratitude for the gentle patience of the river, for the tender care it shows in allowing these experiments to unfold. The moments themselves seem to relax, aware of your presence, aware of the soft acknowledgement of their elasticity. There is no judgment here, only observation, understanding, and acceptance. A soft thought drifts across your awareness. Perhaps every observer has their own lanterns, subtle reminders that seconds are alive and responsive. You smile faintly, letting the idea drift lightly across the surface of the river. You inhale deeply, noticing how the glowing instruments mirror the luminous thread, reinforcing the constancy even as currents shift. Your exhale blends seamlessly into the hum of the river, a small wave of awareness that connects you to the gentle science unfolding along the banks. You drift further, observing more of the experiments. Some clocks float, some remain anchored, yet all demonstrate the quiet drift of moments under motion and gravity. You notice how each second interacts with the others, a tender choreography in which even subtle differences matter. The river responds to each one, shaping the flow around them, amplifying the beauty of their rhythms without hurry or strain. You inhale once more, letting your lungs fill with the soft warmth of this understanding, and exhale slowly, melting into the gentle flow. You notice the interplay of light on the water, reflecting from each clock, from the luminous thread, from the faint shimmer of the river itself. It creates a gentle pattern, a tender constellation of seconds and observation, a soft dance of evidence and awareness. You feel yourself floating amidst it, your breath in harmony with each tick, each pulse, each gentle ripple. The river does not hurry. The river does not demand. It simply flows, carrying the quiet truth that time is flexible, observable, and intimately connected to motion, perspective, and attention. A playful whisper drifts through your thoughts. If the river could talk, would it giggle at the tiny differences in clock ticks, or hum softly in approval of each delicate measurement? You smile faintly, letting the humor settle like a small pebble into the deep, calm water beneath you. Even in the midst of careful observation, the river retains its softness, its patience, and its quiet humor. You exhale fully, feeling the gentle approval of the current, the luminous thread, and the softly ticking instruments along the bank. You drift to the final set of clocks along the riverbank. Each one continues its delicate rhythm, a small, luminous proof of the river's flexibility. You inhale deeply, noticing the warm resonance of each tick against the water beneath you. Each second is a note in the river's symphony. Each experiment a quiet confirmation of what you have already felt. Time can drift, slow, compress, stretch, and respond gently to forces both large and small. You exhale, feeling the subtle illumination of understanding, a soft lantern glowing beside your path. And as your final slow breath flows outward, the river begins to carry you forward once more, leaving the clocks behind, yet holding their quiet lesson in every ripple. You float onward, aware that your own moments are enriched by the observation, by the gentle proof, by the soft evidence of drifting seconds. The luminous thread continues ahead, a steady guide, inviting you to notice how these principles ripple into your personal life, into your own river of moments, your own stretch and compression of time. You float gently forward, leaving behind the lantern-lit riverbank of clocks. The water beneath you hums softly, warm and calm, carrying the memory of each delicate tick along the current. Your breath rises and falls, slow and steady, anchoring you in the tender awareness of your own presence. As you drift, you begin to notice something different. Your river is subtly shaping itself to your pace, to your choices, to the rhythm of your awareness. The seconds around you respond to your mind as if they were water droplets sensitive to your touch. When your thoughts wander into hurry, the ripples quicken slightly, and the current seems to stretch forward faster than your chest can follow. You notice the subtle blur of passing moments, like sunlight scattering across restless water. Each inhale reminds you to slow, each exhale softens the ripples, allowing the seconds to settle like leaves floating gently on the surface. You feel a quiet curiosity arise. Your own life, your own flow, is participating in the same elasticity you have observed in rivers, in light, in clocks. A playful thought drifts across your awareness. Perhaps when you rush, the seconds whisper to each other, nudging and shuffling to keep pace. You smile faintly, letting the idea drift across your chest like a feather. Even in the soft humor, there is truth. Your perception of time responds intimately to your pace, your attention, your breath. The river beneath you adapts effortlessly, showing you that every choice, every motion, every stillness, gently warps the flow of your own seconds. You drift further, noticing the inverse. Moments of calm expand naturally. Your breath slows, long and even, a gentle tide within your chest. The river beneath you mirrors this serenity, widening slightly, carrying the seconds in soft, spacious pools. Each inhale fills you with warmth. Each exhale allows the expanded seconds to ripple outward, blending seamlessly with the river's current. You realize that the flow of time is not rigid or imposed. It is responsive, intimate, a reflection of your awareness and presence. Your attention drifts to the small details of the river. Ripples curl softly around twigs and leaves, currents fold gently over each other, and the luminous thread stretches ahead, constant and unwavering. You notice how your moments interact with these subtleties. When you slow, the edges of the river become more defined, every ripple more intricate, every fold more visible. Each second feels more distinct, more vibrant, more alive. Your breath aligns with the river, a quiet bridge between your internal awareness and the soft, flowing world around you. A tender thought arises. Perhaps every pause, every quiet moment, is a way of cradling time, of expanding seconds as though they were gentle lanterns held in your hands. You smile softly, letting the playfulness drift lightly over the surface of your awareness. The river responds, ripples spreading gently outward, carrying the warmth of your recognition into the surrounding currents. Even subtle gestures, like slowing your footsteps, closing your eyes, or inhaling deeply, send waves of soft dilation through your personal river, making time itself pliant, malleable, and tender. You drift alongside reflections of past moments. You notice times when you were hurried, each second compressed and hasty, rippling over itself like overlapping waves in shallow water. You inhale slowly, feeling the warmth of acceptance, exhale, and let the river carry the reflection gently downstream. There is no judgment here, only awareness, a soft acknowledgement of the quiet elasticity of your life clock. You notice that when you slow, the seconds stretch naturally, softening the edges of memory and perception, creating pools of serene, spacious time to linger in. Your awareness expands to include the interplay between your inner rhythm and the external world. Each choice, each gentle pause, influences the flow, as if the river itself mirrors the currents of your attention. You notice the way calm stretches your moments, how laughter, reflection, or quiet observation can elongate a second like soft taffy in your hands. And you notice, too, how distraction or hurry compresses them, pressing the moments together, a reminder of your intimate influence over the river's current. You breathe in, feeling the river respond, and exhale slowly, grounding yourself in the gentle guidance of awareness. A small, playful thought drifts in. If your seconds stretch when you breathe fully, does your awareness float along the thread like a tiny boat riding the luminous filament? You smile faintly, letting the idea drift like a leaf across the surface. The river hums softly, acknowledging the playfulness and truth intertwined. Your breath anchors the awareness, reminding you that even subtle gestures, like inhaling warmth or exhaling tension, carry measurable influence over the flow of your personal time. You drift deeper, noticing the patterns of your life flowing through the river. Moments of joy ripple outward, expanding the seconds around them, and quiet reflection thickens the water beneath, stabilizing the flow. You sense that your river is both personal and shared. It interacts with the larger flow of the world, yet it remains intimately yours. The luminous thread continues ahead, constant, a gentle guide ensuring coherence amid the subtle variations of your inner time. You inhale slowly, feeling the warmth of the river, exhale softly, and let the seconds flow in tender alignment with your awareness. You notice the interplay between expansion and compression. Some seconds feel long and wide, carrying rich textures of sensation, like the warmth of sunlight on your skin or the gentle echo of a distant hum. Others press gently together, compressed but still soft, as though gathering energy for the next expansion. Your breath becomes a bridge between these variations. Each inhale expands, each exhale compresses, creating a rhythmic harmony that mirrors the larger flow of the river. You float along, aware of the soft elasticity that governs your personal experience of time. A gentle thought rises. Perhaps life itself is a river of seconds, shaped by attention, awareness, and breath, flowing through calm and compression alike. You smile faintly, letting the whimsical idea settle like a pebble into the deep, warm current beneath you. The river responds with subtle ripples, carrying the tender lesson forward. Every moment you spend breathing, observing, noticing, becomes part of this quiet, malleable flow, teaching you the intimate power you hold over your own perception of time. You drift toward the edge of the next stretch, feeling the soft invitation of the river guiding you onward. You inhale slowly, expanding the seconds around you, and exhale, feeling them settle gently into alignment. Your river is yours alone, yet it touches all the others you have observed. The travelers, the clocks, the distant threads of light and gravity. You sense the quiet unity of these experiences, woven together by the luminous guide and your own attentive awareness. And as your final slow breath drifts outward, you float fully aware of your personal river. Seconds stretching, compressing, flowing tenderly under the guidance of breath, attention, and gentle choice. You feel the soft expansion of your moments, the quiet compression of your awareness, and the luminous thread stretching forward, inviting you to notice the cosmic travelers whose rivers drift differently, yet harmonize with yours in the great, flowing current of the universe. You drift forward along your river, leaving the personal reflections behind, carrying the awareness of stretched and compressed seconds into the wider expanse. Ahead, the current widens, and the luminous thread stretches farther than you have yet imagined. You inhale slowly, feeling the warmth of your chest rise in harmony with the river, and exhale softly, letting your awareness expand toward distant travelers. In the subtle glow of the thread, you begin to notice them, cosmic voyagers, floating along their own rivers, shaped differently by speed, gravity, and attention. You imagine astronauts moving near the edge of light speed, their rivers pulled taut by velocity, their seconds elongated into long, tender strands. You feel a quiet weightlessness as you float alongside their experience, your breath matching the gentle cadence of their stretched clocks. The river beneath you seems to respond to their motion, waves curling softly, carrying the memory of expanded seconds like soft silk threads. You inhale slowly, letting the awareness of their journey fill your chest, and exhale, feeling the serene suspension of time flowing through them. Their rivers are slower in heartbeats yet faster in distance, a subtle paradox that you sense rather than measure. You notice how their moments, elongated and soft, carry a quiet tenderness. Each second lingers longer, unfolding slowly like petals on a cosmic flower. Your breath aligns with theirs, and you feel yourself floating in a shared resonance, weightless, calm, fully immersed in the tender stretch of experience. The luminous thread continues between you, a steady connection that keeps the rivers coherent, even as the currents themselves flow differently. You watch as their extended seconds ripple gently along the edges of the river, brushing against your own flow without disturbing it. You inhale, drawing the sensation of soft expansion into your chest, and exhale, letting the ripple fade gently into the current. There is no need to match their pace. You are an observer, a tender participant in the shared beauty of differing rhythms. You notice the subtle contrast between their elongated river and your own, feeling the intimacy of perspective, the quiet poetry of relativity. A playful thought drifts in. If their seconds stretch like soft taffy, do the echoes of their moments drift into your river, leaving faint whispers along the luminous thread? You smile faintly, letting the idea float lightly, like a feather brushing the surface of calm water. Even in the vast expanse of space, humor, curiosity, and tender observation are welcome companions. You exhale, feeling the warmth of shared awareness ripple through your chest, a soft acknowledgement of connection without merging, of closeness without intrusion. You float alongside another voyager, this one closer to a massive gravitational presence. You feel the river thicken around them, moments compressed like honey beneath invisible weight. Your breath deepens, carrying the awareness of their dense flow into your own chest, and you exhale slowly, letting the sensation melt into the calm warmth of your river. The contrast between elongated and compressed seconds creates a subtle, beautiful texture along the luminous thread, a delicate rhythm of time that your awareness traces without hurry. You notice how returning home will feel for these voyagers, how their rivers, stretched and shaped differently, will rejoin the broader currents of normalcy. There is a tender ache in imagining the slow drift of their time back into a world that has moved faster without them. You inhale deeply, feeling the empathy ripple through your chest, and exhale, letting it settle softly into the river beneath you. Even across the vast distance of imagination, the flow of time carries emotional resonance, a quiet reflection of connection between traveler and observer. Your attention drifts to the broader tapestry of rivers flowing through space. Each voyager moves uniquely, yet all are tied to the luminous thread. All participate in the soft harmony of the river system. Some rivers ripple with speed, others pulse with gravity, and yet all converge in subtle ways, weaving a delicate pattern that you can feel without needing to name it. Your breath carries you gently through the interconnected streams, serene and attentive, a calm presence floating above the tender weave of cosmic experience. You lean closer to the surface, letting your awareness skim the delicate currents of their rivers. You notice how moments stretch and compress in ways both subtle and profound, how seconds ripple gently around massive worlds, and how speed transforms perception without forcing it. You inhale slowly, letting the warmth of these observations fill your chest, and exhale, carrying the tenderness of this understanding through your own flowing river. The luminous thread remains constant, steady, a guide through the elegant paradoxes of cosmic motion. A soft, whimsical thought drifts in. If every traveler leaves ripples behind, do the echoes of their rivers drift quietly alongside yours, leaving a tender memory of each journey in the shared water? You smile faintly, letting the idea float gently across your chest. The river hums softly in response, acknowledging the delicate presence of multitudes, the harmony of differences, and the quiet beauty of overlapping experiences. Your breath anchors you in this tender awareness, slow and steady, weightless and calm. You drift forward, feeling the subtle shifts in perspective. Their slow clocks, elongated seconds, and compressed moments all blend into the luminous thread, a shared resonance without erasing individuality. You inhale fully, sensing the interweaving of rivers across vast distances, and exhale, letting the tender, soft flow wash over you. You are both observer and participant, floating effortlessly, grounded by your breath, immersed in the quiet rhythm of cosmic time. Your attention lingers on the return journey of the voyagers, imagining the gentle reconciliation of elongated time with the home river that flowed faster without them. There is no sadness here, only tenderness. A quiet awareness that the rhythm of one life is deeply personal, yet part of a larger, flowing mosaic. You breathe in slowly, feeling the warm pulse of connection, and exhale, letting the river carry the understanding gently onward. Every elongated second, every compressed moment, enriches the texture of the luminous thread, and you float along in serene awareness. A soft thought drifts. Perhaps every traveler carries a small lantern of experience, a glowing reminder of how seconds can stretch or compress, and how rivers can flow in parallel yet remain distinct. You smile faintly, letting the whimsical idea drift lightly across your awareness. The river hums beneath you, embracing the multiplicity of perspectives, honoring the quiet interplay between flow and pause, between observation and participation, between the tender expansiveness of time and the intimate compression of lived moments. You drift deeper into the serene flow, noticing how the rivers of cosmic voyagers blend subtly into the broader luminous thread. Each movement, each elongated second, each compressed moment resonates softly, like gentle ripples in a vast, interconnected web. You inhale, carrying the warmth and resonance into your chest, exhale, and let the subtle, tender ache of connection settle into the calm water beneath you. You are weightless, aware, deeply attuned to the multiplicity of rivers flowing alongside yours. And as your final slow exhale drifts outward, you feel the river preparing to guide you toward the final stretches, where understanding, serenity, and reflection converge. The voyagers float gently ahead, their rivers interwoven with yours, leaving trails of elongated, compressed, and tender seconds in their wake. You breathe deeply, feeling the soft resonance of cosmic time, and let the luminous thread carry you forward into the final chapters of this gentle journey. You drift forward on your river, leaving behind the cosmic voyagers and their elongated, compressed seconds. The luminous thread stretches ahead, soft and unwavering, guiding you gently through the widening waters. Your breath is slow, deliberate, a tide rising and falling within your chest, anchoring you in the serene flow of the present. The river beneath you hums softly, responsive to your pace, patient and accepting. You begin to notice the river itself as a mirror of your inner awareness, flexible, yielding, yet deeply constant. Each inhale carries warmth into your lungs, and each exhale spreads that warmth through the river, rippling softly across the water. You notice how your own seconds respond. Moments expand when you slow, compress when you choose to act, yet always remain tender, always alive. The river is not rigid. It bends, it stretches, it reshapes effortlessly around every choice, every thought, every gentle shift of attention. You inhale slowly, feeling the river's flexibility mirrored inside you, and exhale softly, letting the awareness settle in your chest. A playful thought drifts across your mind. If time were a river, perhaps rushing would be like paddling against the current, and pausing would be like floating with the gentle flow. You smile faintly, letting the idea float lightly across your awareness, a feather brushing the surface of calm water. Even in its playfulness, there is truth. Your seconds are flexible, responsive, and alive. The river is patient, flowing alongside your awareness, supporting you as you navigate the subtle currents of experience. You notice how the luminous thread stretches ahead, constant, guiding every river without constraining it. Your own river weaves around gentle eddies, curves softly around obstacles, and flows freely through calm stretches. Each second carries its own texture, some dense and rich, others light and airy. Your breath becomes a quiet rhythm that harmonizes with this flow, each inhale expanding the moments, each exhale softening them, creating a delicate balance between expansion and compression. You float, weightless and aware, immersed in the tender malleability of your own time. A subtle, tender thought arises. Living softly with your river may mean noticing these shifts without judgment, allowing each moment to find its natural shape. You exhale slowly, feeling the sensation ripple through your chest. Moments of stillness elongate naturally, moments of motion flow fluidly, and every choice of attention becomes a gentle brush on the surface of your river. You inhale, carrying warmth and awareness into each second, exhale, and let the tender malleability of experience settle like soft light across the water. You drift forward, observing how the river bends around gentle obstacles. A fallen branch, a cluster of reeds, a small whirlpool. You notice how your seconds shift to accommodate these curves, compressing slightly, elongating subtly, always adapting without stress. The flexibility of the river becomes a mirror of your own awareness. You do not need to force your moments to fit. They naturally adjust, flowing with the currents around you. Your breath anchors you in this understanding, slow and deep, a constant tide harmonizing with the gentle motion beneath you. A playful idea drifts in. If time can bend and stretch, perhaps every choice is a way of shaping your river without pushing against it. You smile faintly, letting the thought float lightly across the surface of calm awareness. Even in its lightness, there is a tender lesson. Intention can guide the flow without forcing it. Your breath becomes a soft paddle, your awareness the gentle current, and together they shape your moments with tender precision. You drift alongside reflections of your own life. You notice how moments of joy, curiosity, and stillness ripple outward, expanding the seconds naturally. You notice how distractions, worry, or rushing gently compress your seconds, pressing them close like warm beads. Your inhale expands the moments, your exhale softens the compression, and the river responds tenderly, shaping a flow that is both fluid and anchored. You feel gratitude for this gentle guidance, for the awareness that allows your river to flow freely, yet intentionally. The luminous thread continues to stretch ahead, constant, a quiet reassurance that no matter how flexible the river, there is always a guide to keep the currents coherent. You notice how your moments interact with it. Some ripple lightly, others fold gently, yet all maintain harmony. Each second becomes more intentional, more spacious, more alive. Your breath anchors this awareness, creating a steady rhythm that carries your river gently through bends, around obstacles, and across calm pools. A soft, whimsical thought arises. If the river of time is flexible, perhaps patience is simply the act of floating fully with the flow, letting each second shape itself around your awareness. You smile faintly, letting the thought settle like a feather on the water's surface. Your inhale carries warmth and curiosity. Your exhale releases tension and hurry, and the river beneath responds with gentle ripples that reflect the tender balance of expansion and compression. You drift forward, weightless, aware, and immersed in the quiet intimacy of your own river. You notice the interaction between your personal rhythm and the wider currents of life. Each choice, each gentle pause, each attentive breath influences the flow subtly. The river bends, stretches, and reshapes around your awareness, reflecting the soft malleability of experience. You inhale fully, feeling the warm resonance of flowing seconds, and exhale slowly, allowing the tender understanding to settle into your chest. The river carries your awareness effortlessly, supporting each moment, each decision, each gentle act of intention. You drift deeper into this awareness, noticing how living softly allows your seconds to expand without losing coherence. Moments of quiet, of reflection, of mindful attention create pools of spacious time, while moments of motion compress naturally, without friction or stress. You notice that your breath is the tether, the anchor, the gentle guiding current that maintains harmony across expanding and contracting moments. Each inhale stretches your seconds, each exhale softens them, and the river carries your awareness in a tender rhythm of flexibility. A final, tender thought drifts. Perhaps living softly is simply the act of noticing, of breathing, of allowing time to flow in harmony with your awareness. You smile faintly, letting the idea sink like a warm pebble into the river beneath. The luminous thread hums softly, a constant guide through the flowing, malleable currents. You inhale slowly, carrying warmth, awareness, and intention into each second. Exhale softly, and feel the gentle, patient river of your life carrying you forward. And as your final breath drifts outward, you float fully aware of the flexible river within and around you. Seconds bending, stretching, reshaping effortlessly under the guidance of breath, awareness, and intention. You feel the tender harmony of expanded and compressed moments, the steady guidance of the luminous thread, and the soft invitation of the river leading you toward the final chapter of this journey, where time itself becomes a companion rather than a keeper. You drift toward the mouth of the river, where it opens gently into the vast expanse of the cosmic sea. The luminous thread stretches endlessly ahead, constant, steady, a quiet guide through the soft shimmer of water and starlight. You inhale slowly, feeling the warmth of your chest rise with each gentle breath, and exhale softly, letting the river carry you forward into the wide, serene openness. The currents here are calm, expansive, welcoming, and your awareness widens to match their breadth. You notice how the river beneath you has shifted over your journey. It has bent and stretched, thickened and thinned, carrying you through compressed moments, elongated seconds, and tender personal reflections. And now, at this final delta, it flows freely, unhurried, a gentle convergence of all the currents you have traversed. You inhale, feeling the breadth of your own awareness expand with the river, and exhale, letting the gentle rhythm of time itself settle into your chest. The luminous thread glimmers softly across the water, a constant guide that connects all the rivers you have floated along. It is no longer merely a measure of distance or speed, but a quiet companion, threading through your awareness like a soft spine holding the river together. You lean back gently, letting your breath rise and fall with the tender pull of the current, and notice how time itself no longer feels separate, no longer something to chase or measure, but something alive, flowing with you in harmony. A playful, tender thought drifts through your mind. If time is a river, perhaps every second is a droplet of cosmic water, soft and malleable, reflecting both light and shadow, motion and stillness. You smile faintly, letting the idea drift across your awareness like a feather settling on calm water. The river hums softly in response, carrying your reflection gently forward, expanding the tenderness of each moment into a harmonious flow. You inhale, feeling the warmth of this awareness, exhale, and let it dissolve into the serene current. You notice how your personal river, once filled with stretched and compressed seconds, has merged with the delta, a broader flow that is inclusive yet tenderly individual. Each moment is distinct, yet inseparable from the wider current. You inhale slowly, feeling the intimate connection of your awareness with the greater river, and exhale, letting the serene expansiveness carry the tension of your days away. The river hums, constant, patient, a soft reminder that time is not a keeper but a companion. A soft, tender realization drifts in. All the rivers you have seen, the personal, the cosmic, the voyager streams, the luminous thread, have been flowing toward this openness. They have been flowing toward a quiet understanding that time is alive, responsive, and deeply intimate. You inhale, feeling your chest expand with the warmth of this truth. Exhale, letting the gentle resonance ripple through your inner river. The currents hum softly beneath you, a tender orchestra of flowing moments, guiding you toward completion without haste. You drift gently, noticing the texture of the water at this confluence. The river is wider here, deeper, soft and shimmering like liquid light. Your breath becomes a tide, rising and falling in gentle rhythm with the waves beneath you. Each inhale lifts your awareness slightly, each exhale anchors it softly, and you feel your seconds stretching and folding in gentle harmony with the broader river. The luminous thread glimmers across the surface, constant and tender, guiding your flow while allowing freedom in its embrace. A whimsical thought floats across your mind. If time is your companion, perhaps it has always been patient, waiting quietly for your awareness to recognize its gentle presence. You smile faintly, letting the idea drift across the surface like a leaf floating in a slow current. Even the tiniest ripple, the softest reflection, is embraced without judgment. Your inhale rises like a soft wave, your exhale settles like a tender whisper, and the river carries you forward in harmonious ease. You notice the subtle interplay of light and reflection at this river's mouth. Each droplet shimmers, capturing both the journey behind you and the infinite expanse ahead. You feel the memory of every stretched and compressed second, every tender pause and breath, reflected softly in the water beneath you. You inhale, carrying the gentle illumination into your chest, and exhale, letting the light and warmth dissolve into the calm expanse. Time here is a companion, not a keeper. Soft, patient, responsive, alive. Your personal river merges seamlessly with the wider currents, carrying the echoes of the cosmic voyagers, the lantern-lit clocks, and the luminous thread that has guided you from the first gentle ripple. Each second flows with clarity, expanding softly, yet never losing its coherence. Your breath anchors you in this realization, slow and steady, a tender tide rising and falling within your chest. You notice the warmth of awareness, the gentle hum of flowing time, and the soft, intimate presence of the river beneath you. A tender, playful thought drifts in. If you float fully with the river, noticing its flow without hurry, without resistance, do the seconds themselves become companions, rising and falling with each breath, whispering softly with gentle laughter. You smile faintly, letting the thought drift across your awareness. The river hums softly in reply, carrying the tender humor and gentle observation in perfect harmony. You inhale, filling your chest with warmth, exhale, letting it flow outward into the serene expanse of your river. You drift closer to the delta's edge, where the river opens fully into the cosmic sea. The currents here are vast, expansive, a gentle convergence of all flows, past and present, observed and experienced. You feel the intimate presence of time as a companion, wrapping softly around you, carrying your awareness effortlessly. Your seconds stretch in gentle accord, folding and unfolding naturally, alive with the tender rhythm of breath and attention. You inhale slowly, feeling the resonance of eternity in each moment. Exhale, letting the river hum softly beneath you. A soft, final thought arises. Perhaps the true gift of the river is its patience, its capacity to flow with you rather than over you, to respond to awareness rather than command it, to be a companion through every second. You smile faintly, letting the tenderness drift fully through your chest and into your flowing river. The luminous thread glimmers softly, a quiet reminder that even in the vast expanse, even in the stretching and folding of seconds, time is always alive, always tender, always yours to flow with. And as your final slow exhale drifts outward, you rest gently on the river's edge, aware of the vast, serene openness. The river widens into the cosmic sea, carrying your seconds, your breaths, your awareness in patient harmony. Time no longer feels separate, no longer a keeper of moments, but a companion flowing alongside, soft, alive, endlessly patient. Your chest rises and falls in quiet rhythm with the tide, your mind soft, serene, and fully immersed in the tender flow of the eternal river. The luminous thread stretches onward, beyond your gaze, beyond your breath, a quiet guide flowing in harmony with every river, every moment, every gentle awareness. You inhale fully, letting warmth and understanding fill you completely. Exhale slowly, melting into the soft, endless flow. You realize finally that you are part of this river, the river is part of you, and time itself is a companion, patient, alive, and endlessly gentle.